Alright, everybody, welcome back to Major Gaming, and today we're gonna talk about why I don't believe that Multiversus is a dead game. We're gonna talk about it because, honestly, I am so tired of people who don't play the game saying how dead it is. Okay? And I'm gonna prove why that you can't just throw out Steam numbers and be like, oh, the game's dead. I'm going to prove why you can't do that. Okay? Now, obviously, there is no way for us to actually confirm how many console players are playing this game on a daily basis. They don't put those numbers out. The only console or whatever that has it is Steam. So throwing Steam numbers out and saying it's dead doesn't work, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it, and I'm just very tired of people who don't play the game complaining about the game, and then saying they love it. Like, if you love the game, why aren't you playing it? Like, you don't love it at that point. You don't. You are not happy with the game. That's why you're not playing it. Okay? And that's fine. It's perfectly fine to not enjoy the game. It pisses me off sometimes playing this game. I know. It's not always a fun time. But I still play it regularly. I still enjoy it for the most part. And I get, there are some things like not enough stages, certain characters, or whatever. Okay? But they are working on it. And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Okay? I'm just, So, first up is the numbers thing. This is why you can't just throw out Steam numbers and think that that represents the entire player base of the game, because it doesn't. And I'm going to explain why. All right? Now, this is from today. This player count is from today. Okay? The day I'm recording this video, which is November 17th, 2022. Okay? That is the numbers for today. If you look here, okay, if you scroll down to July 2022 when the game released, this is the peak of Multiversus on Steam. 66,920 players was the peak for Multiversus on Steam. Now, obviously, yes, the player count has gone down a lot from then. I'm not saying it hasn't. And I'm not saying that I don't want more Steam players to play the game. I do. I want more people to play the game. I want it back to the 66,000 that we had. But to say that the game is dead just based on this is factually wrong. Okay? And here's why. This is from an article. This is a part of an article. I screenshotted and then edited it out, the other parts of it. So this is Crossover Fighter Multiversus has now surpassed 20 million players, and to celebrate, the team has put out an amusing 90s style ad for Warner's popular online game. 20 million. Steam peak is 66,920. Why is Steam the deciding factor of this game when peak Steam doesn't even come close to the peak numbers? Okay, if the game hit 66,000 players total and that was it, and then it went down to this, yes, I'd say the game is pretty dead at that point. But that's not reality. Reality is 20 million players created an account and played the game at least once. Now, granted, yes, that's not accurate now. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying there are 20 million players total in this game. But if you subtract 66,920 from 20 million, you get about 19 million other accounts that are in this game that have played at least once. 19 million. That still is millions more players than Steam ever reached. So why are we throwing out Steam numbers to represent a game that has 19 million console players? Why? Why is this number representing 19 million console players? Like, I don't understand that. So now we go through this, all right? Now, keep in mind that this happened with no Switch. The game is still not on Switch. Switch players have not played this game yet. Now, that could be a lot of players. And when they eventually get the game, this is a tweet from Tony saying, yes, we are planning on doing some character showcases. We are a smaller team, so we had to make some hard decisions about where we use our resources. But I'm hoping we are eventually able to bring the game to Switch. Okay? So that 20 million was without Switch. Now, granted, do I think adding Switch is going to increase the player count by millions? Maybe. Probably not millions, maybe in the 100,000s. I can see that. Maybe in the, probably 100,000s. Maybe not millions. But still, that's a lot of people who have not played this game yet. And when they eventually get the game, they're not getting the beta version that came out in July. They are getting the version we have now if this goes to Switch. And if, say this goes to Switch like a year from now, they're getting that version of the game first. Never playing the original beta version that dropped on July. So, arcade mode, ranked mode, silly queue, all stages, characters up the ass are going to be in this game by the time that Switch gets it. So they're going to get the full version of the game and more. So they're most likely, their first impression is going to be a lot better than everyone else who came in July. It's just, that's just the way it is, you know? So they're more, if they like the game, they are more likely to want to stay with the game at that point. So now we have which regions this game is available in. All of these regions in the world do not have Multiversus. Multiversus, there are no Asian servers for Multiversus, so Asia can't play this game. And that's a lot of people. That's billions of people in Asia that can't play this game, that probably want to. You know? Like, they eventually got to get this game out to Asia. You know? And then when they do, the player count will increase a lot. Like, there are no Asian servers, and yeah, I don't get it. Like, this game could reach still a lot more people, and again, when the Asians get this, when Asian servers get this, they're gonna have a full game. They're not gonna have the beta that dropped in July. So say like a couple million people start playing this game in Asia. They're more likely to stick with it because they'll have so much more to work with from the beginning. Okay? So, again, this game is not available everywhere. It's not available on Switch, and it's not available in Asia, which Asia is probably one of their biggest possible markets. So Now, and again, that's not an excuse. That's not me saying that the game isn't dead because of the potential of it. The game isn't dead for other reasons. But the potential is there, you know? And I don't understand why people don't want to see the game reach that potential. That's just me talking about potential. That's not me actually talking about the current player count. The current player count still should be pretty good. And I'm going to explain why. Now, 20 million minus 66,000, like I said, 19,934,000. Almost 20 million. Okay? Almost 20 million. Yeah, it's not even like legit 66,000. 100,000 minus 66,000 is like 44,000. So 19,034,000 or whatever. That's almost the 20 million. That Steam did not add a lot to the 20 million that were originally playing the game. It didn't. It just didn't. Like, it was never a big factor in the player base for the game to begin with. So I don't understand why people are throwing out Steam numbers like Steam matters that much. I don't understand. It doesn't even make sense logically. Like, why would you throw out this number compared to this number? Like, I don't get it. So, now, 19,900,000, which is less than the actual number of non-Steam players or non-Steam accounts. Not divided by half. So this is half of that 19 million. Is 9,950,000. Okay? So if half of the player base, of the original player base from console, now that 19 million is console only, Xbox and PlayStation, if half of them are still playing the game, that's 9 million people. The game is not dead if half. That's if you cut that number in half. That is still 9 million people, okay? I'm pretty sure 75% would still be in the millions of 19 million people. Cut 75% of the game of the console player base is still in the millions. The game is not dead at that point. It's got millions of players. You would literally have to cut like 90% of console players for like maybe 80 to 90% of console players in order to get into the 100,000s, okay? Like we could have hundreds of thousands of people still playing this game. Okay? A million is a lot on its own. 1 million is a lot of people on its own. Like the chances of 18 million people just dropping the game and never playing it again are so low. And even at that, if 18 million people who made an account drop the game, that's still a million people. The chances of that happening are so low that 18 million people drop the game completely. You're going to tell me that? And then still say the game is dead when the chances of that are so low, and then you still, even after 18 million people drop the game, you have almost 2 million people still playing the game? Like, I don't understand how people can say this. Like, logically, that just doesn't make sense. The queue times for this game are good. I can find a match at any time of the day. I've played in the morning, I've played at night, I've played late into the night. I still find a match under a minute no matter what time of day I play. Under a minute. I could just load into a match. People are playing this game. And I rarely ever get like the same person twice. Rarely. So people are obviously still playing this game. The queue times are pretty good. Like under a minute for any... I can load in and get into a match in under a minute. And get into a lobby in under a minute. So I don't understand. Like, and then again, if you look at this, half of that player base, say 9 million people are still playing this game. That's 150 times more than Steam's peak. Steam's peak is not even close to half of the original console player base. So why are we letting Steam numbers decide whether this game is dead? I I legitimately don't understand this concept. Like, and it's crazy because you gotta think about it. Tony and the developer team, they have not said anything about the fallen player base. They haven't said anything about it. Now, granted, maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're just maybe they know more than we do. I mean, I can't confirm how many console players are playing this game. But obviously, this game is getting enough support for the developer team to keep going. They are dropping season 2. They are still working on characters. They are still putting faith into this game. They are still working on new additions to the game. So obviously they're getting some sort of support for this. Like, if this game was dead, say it had 10,000 players playing daily, I doubt that they would still be working on this game like that. They'd be putting their time into maybe marketing or just giving up, like PlayStation All-Stars did. You know. So, I highly doubt that is happening. The chances of 19 million console players dropping the game are so low. So low. Okay? I can see maybe 75% of that dropping the game, realistically. Maybe. But even then, that's still millions of players. Please, stop saying the game is dead without knowing the real number. Steam is not the be-all, end-all of this game. It is not. Steam was never a large part of the player base. Never. It never was. So I don't understand why Steam is deciding whether the game is dead. I can't confirm how many people are playing on console on a daily basis. I don't think anyone can. I don't even think the developers can. But if the developers are getting money from the game, if they are getting support from the game, that's all that matters. The player count can be what it is, but if they're getting money for the game and enough money to keep supporting it, then what's the issue? What is the problem? I don't understand. Why do people want to be so negative towards this game? Why do people want it to die? Because, like, just spreading this narrative about, oh, the game's dead, it could hurt the game more than help it, okay? Giving fair criticism to the game is one thing, but just going around saying the game is dead, if any new people want to play the game, they're going to look at that and be like, oh, the game's dead, man. I was kind of looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to play it now. You are hurting the game by saying it's dead when it's not. I can't grasp this concept. Okay, and that's why when people say they love the game but are saying it's dead, you don't love the game. I can't agree with you on that because you're actively hurting the game saying it's dead when it's clearly not dead. That's not right, okay? I'm just saying. And like I said, as long as the developer team keeps adding stuff to the game, I don't think it's dead. Why would they waste money and time on a dead game? And this game can always come back to what it was before, okay? And another thing I want to point out with this game is we need to point out the fact that this game dropped in player base at the end of August, okay? The end of August. Now, you know what happens at the end of August? People go back to school. People don't play video games as much when they're in school. Kids go back to school. The player base that they're probably shooting for with this game is teenagers, most likely. Teenagers, and college kids. So why, like they're going back to school. The player base dropped. It makes sense. I can, with the way the game is right now, I can see next summer numbers going back up a lot. Or maybe during winter break. Or during spring break. I can see these numbers going back up. Because the game is in a much better place now, and people won't be in school as much. Just saying. So yeah, that's my little rant. Oh, also, one more thing I gotta bring up. People complaining about the characters we're getting. See people complaining that we might get the Goonies and the Wicked Witch and Beetlejuice and all these older characters. Okay? Saying, those are old characters nobody cares about. For one, you don't speak for everybody. Stop that. For two, okay? These characters still need to be licensed, even if they are owned by Warner Bros. They still need to be licensed. They don't just... The Player First Games cannot just use whatever character they want. And most likely, what happened is that when they were making this game, before they even dropped the alpha, they got a ton of licenses to plan ahead. As many as they could. They got as many licenses for as many characters as they possibly could before the game even dropped. And they started working on characters. Okay? They don't work on these characters 2 weeks at a time. Okay? They don't get the license, make the character, and put it out in 2 weeks. That's not how it works. They work on these characters months ahead of time. Okay? They've already been planning this out ahead of time. They've been working on Season 2 characters probably for about a month now. So, say they got the licensing for the Wicked Witch, Beetlejuice, and the Goonies way back before the game even dropped. That's not them not listening to the fans. That's that they already had the license for it before the game dropped and have been working on it for a while. But that's just me. That's just me, being realistic and logical about it, okay? They don't make these characters 2 weeks ahead of time. They can push characters forward, but even then, if they didn't plan to release them ahead of time based on fan demand, they still have to finish the character. So I don't get it. For Season 2, I've heard we might be getting Samurai Jack, which is a very popular character. We might be getting, we're definitely getting Marvin the Martian. We're definitely getting, I can't say definitely. We're definitely getting Marvin the Martian, and there's a chance we could be getting Samurai Jack. Those are two pretty popular characters. They're two Cartoon Network characters. They might not be Mordecai and Rigby or Ben 10 or whatever, but maybe they don't have the licensing for those characters. They can't use Harry Potter. They're not using Harry Potter because they can't use the license for him. You really think they wouldn't have already if they could? There's probably something wrong with the licensing for Harry Potter and they can't use them. Same with Lord of the Rings. They probably had to scrap Gandalf, even though they had a whole model for him and a move set. They had to scrap him most likely because they were losing the video game rights to Lord of the Rings. So, this is just me. That's just me and my logical thinking about the situation. But people do people, but I'm just irritated by it. And I wanted to make a video about it because I'm very tired of the negativity surrounding this game sometimes. Leave the devs alone. Let them support their game, and if you don't like the game, don't play the game. Why are you on Twitter following the game around if you don't even like it and don't want to play it? That's beyond me, but so that's my rant. I'm done now. So yeah, I hope people realize that this game most likely is not even close to being dead, okay? Realistically speaking. So, Yeah, if you have your own thoughts on what I said, leave it down in the comments below. Maybe I don't have all the info. Maybe I don't know all of everything I'm talking about. Maybe there is a console number counter every day. I don't know. I can't find one. So, like, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But based on the information I have right now, I don't think I am. I really don't. So, prove me wrong if you want. But if you can't tell me what the console numbers are on a daily basis, I don't think you can. So, that's just me. Alright, so leave your thoughts and comments down in the comments section below. And everyone have a good day.